Welcome, Libra. This is Regina from Pacific Tarot, getting ready to do your general November message. This is meant to support you anytime in November and can accompany the meditation or other moon messages that you receive during this month. I have laid out the axis of the horoscope reading. I'll clarify with the African Tarot and finish off with an oracle card. If you find that this reading resonates with you, if it's useful or helpful, please subscribe and like my channel. I appreciate all the ways that you support me, Libra, and am deeply appreciative. I feel your love and energy. So let's get started, Libra, with your overall energy for the month of November, the Two of Swords. Two of Swords indicates that you are pressed with a decision right now. You're feeling the pressure of having to choose between two apparent and almost oppositional directions. This card can indicate that there's something you're having difficulty looking at. There's some information that you're uncomfortable with. And as a result, you may not be looking at the context of these choices so that you can get a greater grasp of the range of opportunities available to you. Let's find out a little bit more about that. In the 10th house, we have the Justice card. I always stumble because the 8s and 11s are reversible in many decks, a foil created over 100 years ago by some of the early tarotists to foil the uninitiated. Justice is helping you to recognize that as you have now come to face an experience of unfairness, injustice that you've experienced, you are now in a position to bring a voice and clarity around the unfairness, the inequity involved, and the impact that this has on others. Many others who, like you, are being treated unfairly or are suffering an injustice. Because it's in your 10th house, you are emblematic of this struggle in some particular way. This can be a way in which you are bringing resources to the understanding of this injustice, to the healing, to a process of reparations or repair. So restorative justice is something that you may be a spokesperson for or may be leading in a particular arena pertaining to your community, the community of those who are suffering this injustice, and a way in which you are providing professional support to the struggle. In the first house, we have the Knight of Cups. And the first house is where we focus our attention. And the Knight of Cups has you opening up, becoming more transparent about the emotional exploration that you are on in understanding the ramifications of this injustice, of exposing the ways in which you have concretely suffered or the people that you may be representing are suffering, are individually impacted or collectively impacted in a way that impacts on who they are and access to the resources that they need to heal this. So you're very much looking to ways to heal some social injustice. In the 4th house, the house of your unconscious, your home, your history, the 5 of Cups is having you personally review some failure. It may be a specific heartbreak or disappointment that pertains to this injustice, some way in which you were wrong, unfairly treated, marginalized, or excluded, rejected from something that you believed that was meant for you. The understanding the emotions and the range of feelings that are associated with this disappointment has been immensely healing to you. It is important that you validate the feelings that you have had as a result of this experience, and it is thus cleansing your opportunity to appreciate what remains. And what remains is this ability for you to connect profoundly with this big idea, this overturning of an injustice, confronting it, facing it, and working with your community, other like-minded individuals, to make a change here, to appreciate the abundance of resources that you have. In the 7th house, the house of your significant others, we have the 7 of Wands. And this is where you have carved out this particular expertise. So this reading may be very specific and may be for some specific ones among you. However, the implication of this can be relevant to any area of your life. The 7th house can be not only a place where we are encountering significant others, partners in our lives, but where we have a relationship to our audiences, our clients, our customers, our students. You have carved out a very particular niche, and to that end, you are creating clear boundaries. You are being very clear in your agreements with others about your turf, your territory, and you are defending that. This can be your defense of your clients or customers. This can also be your right to defend who you are defending, yourself, your right to your opinion and your actions as a result of that. In the 1st house, the Knight of Cups is being clarified by the Ace of Wands in the 2nd house and the 6 of Wands in the 3rd house. You're definitely starting a new path, a new fund, a new way. You're creating a new tool, a new resource that can aid in the address of this injustice, this imbalance. You are being recognized and celebrated for the work that you have done in identifying this resource which will help. You are far from having won the battle, but you are definitely overcoming obstacles and being cheered on by your peers, your collaborators, your clients, your customers, at the successes you've had to date. But this is passionate. This ability to identify resources and ways to help people that are willing to help comes from a deep sense of your own passion for what is right, for balance. This is you, Libra. The 5 of Cups in the 4th house is clarified by the 7 of Swords in the 5th house and the Hermit in the 6th house. So you are really understanding the ways in which others have been damaged. You have been damaged by this injustice that you've experienced. This can be relevant to education. And I'm feeling a strong sense around education, particularly K through 12 education. But anywhere where our children are educated is calling out in this reading in particular. The ways in which perhaps you were harmed as a student, as a defenseless student, in a system that already had defined and labeled you in some particular way. And the injustice is the way in which you were ignored as a result of that label. Perhaps you are in a position now to take up the cause, to aid, to support students in this position, which officially learning divergent children are increasing the roles, and for a variety of reasons, but the ways in which we support those children is not has not grown with the need. And so there are many ways that the injustice that, as an example, these children experience because of the way that they're labeled at a very early age, in a way that relegates them to some expectation or non-expectation, is part of what has sent you on a particular journey along with your colleagues to understand where the root of this problem is, where is the root of this injustice, and how can we as a group, as concerned people, as professionals, help and support these people. How can we train and teach helpers to help in a way that will support our students, again as an example, through the rigors of the educational process so that they can enjoy the access and fruits of the education system. And by just bringing up the education system, I'm bringing up a huge behemoth. The Seven of Swords, Seven of Wands in the 7th house is clarified by the King of Cups in the 8th house and the Six of Cups in the 9th house. Your emotional maturity, your empathy in working not only on behalf of your clients, customers, students, but your maturity in terms of how you are working with the professionals and the supporters that want to aid in this battle are growing in tandem. Your understanding of where you have been damaged by this particular injustice is allowing you to see the need far beyond the arena of this particular injustice you're battling. For example, I was a special education teacher, and beyond my role as a teacher, I have learned how to identify the neurodiversity within my family, among my friends, and the ways in which they have learned to or have found support in identifying the neurodiversity within their own families. That's an example of ways in which the impact of your understanding of this particular issue. There are many issues beyond the education system, many injustices we experience that the efforts at repairing, fixing the challenges, the injustices, gains you a sense of self-understanding that is beyond measure and can be shared with others. This is impacting the way you're understanding relationships, helping you understand some of the difficulties you may have had with your family of origin, with your coming of age experiences, your own educational experience, or your own workplace experiences in which you were marginalized as a result of some difference. Maybe you overcompensated for some difference you understood you had that you wanted to mask or hide or try to cope with in a number of ways that may have ended up damaging you. But you are understanding that it requires equity at every level in your relationships, in your communication, in your desire for more. and in the ways that you understand you can distribute resources that you are identifying that are available to help. Justice in the 10th house is clarified by the 9 of Pentacles in the 11th house and the 8 of Pentacles in the 12th house. I love this. Not only have you created your own independence that is really fueled by your ability to own your own authority, to understand that, how you've grown and learned who you truly are, and the way that your attempt to understand yourself to improve your environment has impacted on you is part of what fuels your desire to continue working on yourself, to continue polishing your craft. And clearly you're in an arena of working with others, relationships. How does the relationship with yourself, the greater growth you've exhibited, impact on others and model for others a way to gain independence? I'm going to finish up this reading, Libra, with a crystal oracle. And I already know this is the ruby. And the key word is shine. It's time for me to shine. I'm going to leave this here, Libra. I thank you so much for this reading. I hope it's been helpful to you. Until next time, namaste.